Press any key to enroll the keypad. Now that we've enrolled the keypad, we have a trouble light on here. So let's see what that is. Service required. Loss of clock. Okay. Press star here. Enter your code. So you just enter your time in here. And that's it. Alright, so we still have, if you notice, we have the orange light here still. So we press star 2 to see what that is. It's communication. Alright, so this book that come with your panel, whatever I'm going over right now, feel free to highlight what I'm going over and feel free to take notes as to what I'm doing. I would not go through every section in this book. I would just go through whatever it takes to get your system up and running, and I'm going to show you exactly how I would set this system up on a normal installation. First thing, we're going to skip over the zone programming, and we're going to start with all the system programming first to get that out of the way. Then we'll focus a little more on individual zone programming. Okay, so to get into programming, as I said before, you press star 8, installer code. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 5s. And that brings you into programming. Notice you have 3 zeros here. Here's where you put your 3-digit section in if you want to program the system by the sections. You can also program the system by going through all these menus, but I'm not super familiar with that to explain it to you that way. I'm more thorough if I explain it to you by the sections. So if we go into section 005, this is our system times and areas. So we press star here, and first thing, so make sure you mark this in your book if you want to keep up to what I'm doing. You have a bell cutoff time. I normally set this to 009, and that takes you over to the next section. I don't set up a bell delay. I skip that. Don't mess with that. I'm going to pound back. So notice I'm still in system area. I press over and we have partition 1. I select partition 1, and here's my entry exit delay. What do you want to set these to? So depending how far away your door is from the keypad, you can increase the time, but 30 seconds is normally fine. Press over and delay 2. You can use that for a garage overhead door, and I would probably set that to 2 minutes, which is 120 seconds. And we have our exit delay, which is 60 seconds. That's fine. And I just press pound because I don't program anything else in there. I press pound again, and I'm on the system time now. So if I press pound one more time, I go out of programming. Just notice that if you press pound 2 minute time, it'll bring you back out of programming, and that was my mistake. But let's get back into programming. So to program your access code in the panel, so 006. This is a little different from the old panel because they had these separated. Now under 006, you have your installer code, you have your master code, you have a maintenance code, you have a guard code, and there you go. We toggle back around to that. So you press star here on the installer code. You can put your new code in here. We're not going to change this. And also, if you go under master code, you have your master code here as well. So we're not going to change any of these codes, but that's where you would change your codes. So notice we came back to 006, which is where we went into. So the next thing we want to get into is we want to get into the system options. That's under section 013. And this is what I normally turn on. So for option 1, this is toggle 1. And if you're lost, let me excuse me for a second. I would grab the book and I'll show you exactly where I am so that we're on the same page. So if you open up your book here, you would see I'm into section 013 and I'm on option 1. And we will go through a few of these options, what it is that I program. So notice option 1 in the book says the same thing here. So for this first option here, that's pertaining to resistors in the panel. If you do not want to use resistors in the panel, you press star and that would turn to yes. But we have resistors installed in our panel, so we're going to turn that back to no. And I'm going to breeze through these real quick, so just take notes. So we don't do anything on option 2, and option 3 we don't do anything. When it comes to option 4, yes, I turn this on, I make that a yes. Option 5, I turn that on, I leave that as a yes. And option 7, that should be a yes as well. Press pound once, and then we're going to go into section 015. We want that on, so option 1, we want that on as a yes. Hit over, we want this one on as well, so we press star. Quick exit, yes, we want that on. And we want quick arming, yes. Oops, sorry, you want to leave that on. Press over, go to option 7. Here's where you turn off your telephone line monitoring. So for example, if you don't have a phone line on the panel, you turn this off and this will turn off telephone line monitoring, so you don't have a trouble light on the panel. So that's it for this menu. We press star once, so we're still on 015. We want to go into 016. That's fine. Let's press over. Go to option, I skipped it, option 2. We do want to turn this on. We're going to go to option 5 now. That's fine. We want backlighting on. Alright, press pound once. I'm going to go into section 017. And we're going to go to, depending on where you at in the world, you can turn on daylight saving time. So if this is not pertain to you, you can turn on daylight saving time if you need to. I'm going to press pound once. Go into section 018. Going to go all the way to option 5 and keypad buzzer. We want to turn this on. This comes on when the system is in alarm. So if you don't want the buzzer on, leave it off, but I always turn that on. And next we want to go into phone number 1. Here is where you put your receiver number to the central station. Do not remove the D. Put your 1-800 number in as is, but do not remove the D. Press pound once and you can hit over to go to phone number 2. Here, do not remove the D again. Alright, so next we want to go into section 310. And this is your account number. So we press star. We put our 4-digit code in here. Let's just say 7896. Okay, so also you press over to go to 01, and this is partition 1 account number, and you put the same account number in as well, 7896. Now that you've put that in, we're going to press pound once and we're going to 350. This is our communication format. We press star, and by default it comes at SIA. We want to press over and set it to contact ID or SIA, depending on what your central station work with. So you select your format here and you press star. Press pound once and then you're going to 380. communication enable. That's option 1. This is the only option I worry about in this section. Make sure this is on. You can turn it off by pressing star, but you want this on if you want the panel to communicate. So for example, if you're having communication issue because you don't have a phone line, here's where you come to disable that. Press pound once. So at this point, we've completely programmed the panel for itself. Next, we're going to go into programming the zones and the zone labels and all that stuff. So now we're going to move on to zone programming. Let's start by getting back into the panel. Star 8 5 5 5 5. Okay, so first we're going to do our zone type. You can't give your zone a zone definition if you don't have a zone list. So before you even get started, you should first have a zone list. So I have a zone list here, and we're going to program off the zone list that I have. So now we're going to select zone 1. We press star to select zone 1. We want to give zone 1 a delay zone because that's my entry door. We press star. It automatically takes you to zone 2. Zone 2 is my back door, so I want that to be an instant. I press star. Then my next door is the living room. That should be an instant. And then I have my living room motion. We want to set the motion to interior stay away. Then I press star. And then my next one is the kids room, which is zone 5. So we're gonna take that to a entry. We're gonna set that to an instant. And now I'm done with my zone programming. We go to zone 6 and I can put that to 0 0 0. We don't want to give that a zone. Let me be clear on what I just did. If a zone is not occupied, you want to set that zone to null, which is 0 0 0, and that nulled the zone out. I don't plan on having anything on that zone, and if I did wanted to put something on the zone, I just come back into this section and I give that zone a definition. First thing first, we gave our zones a definition. Then we want to go to our zones and put them on a partition. So we press pound to bring us back to zone definition area, and it says select your section. We want to go into section 201 to put our zone on a partition. So zone 1 through 8, zone 9 through 16, and so on. So for zone 1 through 8, we're gonna say yes. So we want zone 1 on, correct? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are not using 6, so we want to set that to no. We're not using 7, no. We're not using 8. And once we're done with that, you can just go back through and make sure that you did it correctly. Press pound, and that should bring you back. So at this point, our zones are programmed, and we just need to program the zone labels. So to program the zone label, you press pound. Come back out of programming. I went a little too far. So now we're going to program our zone labels. Star 8, installer code. To program our zone label, it's already here. We press star, which is on the 0 0 0 star. So scroll over to zone label, hit star again, and for zone 1, so for example, my front door is my zone 1. So like the old days of texting, alright, so let's go to label 2 and do the same thing. So we've just programmed all the zone label. So now we're going to program a wireless device into the system, and we're going to do that by doing it with the quick and simple way. Okay, so let's start by getting into programming. Section 804, enroll device star. So now that we've did the quick enrollment, we're gonna press star. It's gonna ask us what zone we want to put it on. We tell it zone 3, and it's gonna ask us for a definition. We've already programmed instant. Press star. It's gonna ask us, do you want this on this partition? Press star again. Sorry, you want to leave that at yes, and then you press pound. And then it's going to ask you for the zone label, which we also already did that. So press pound. It's going to automatically jump to enroll the next device. Now we're going to initiate this motion to be programmed in the keypad. So press and hold this button here until this light becomes solid and release. So here's the ESN number that's located on the motion detector. So we're going to press star to confirm. And which zone do we want to put this on? We're going to put this on zone 4. Interior stay away. That's what we want. Star. Partition 1. Yes. And zone label, we've already programmed it to living room motion. And then we hit pound again. So now it's going to ask us to trigger our other device. So we press and hold this until the light lights up. There it is, and release. So it took a while, but it showed up. Let me close up this motion detector real quick. So now we're going to confirm this. Press star. We want to put that on zone 5. Do we want that as an instant? We're going to say yes. Which partition do we want that on? Partition 1. That's fine. Press pound, and it's going to ask us to do the label, which we've already done the label here for the kids room. Press pound. So at this point, we're done programming our zones. Have some kind of issue right now. Notice that. Star 2, device tamper. The reason why we have a device tamper, because I have to put this back on. So the device tamper is gone now, but we still have a trouble, which is this communication. However, I will tell you how to get rid of this communication temporarily. Star 8, 5555, and then we want to go into section 015 and turn off option 7. So notice the light went away. I turned off telephone line monitoring. So now we have a clean slate on our keypad. We have a green check mark with no trouble. So it's time to test our zones and see if the programming we did here was successful. So for example, I'll take a piece of metal. So the light went off, but you didn't hear a chime, so let's turn the chime on. We're going to go to zone 1, which is our front door, and it should display front door. We're going to go to zone 2, which is our back door, and it would display our back door. And then we're going to go to zone 3, which is our living room. And there it is. And we have our motion here, but notice if the motion is open, you still have a green check mark. But what you can do is you can do star 1 and scroll over and go to motion, and you see that there's a 0 indicating that the zone is open. And we can check the kids room to make sure that works. and it says kids room. So at this point, guys, our programming is done here, and I apologize if I wasn't extremely clear with everything that I was doing, but feel free to ask any question in the comment. I know this system very well, and I hope that you was able to follow me along through this video to learn how to program this panel. This was a very basic programming. We went through all the setups as far as what I would do on a normal system installation, and then we programmed the zone. I literally took you through a complete system programming. There's other levels to this, of course. You know, there's multiple things like partition. There's many other levels in advanced programming, but this is a basic everyday security installation. And guys, thanks for watching this video. If you find my videos helpful, please subscribe to the channel as support to the channel and keep this audience growing, and I appreciate it, and I will catch you guys on the next one.